Bottom 8. So welcome to the broadcast baseball tonight with you for the next 95 minutes, taking you up to 11 o'clock Eastern time. When at Sports Center, Steve Berthume, Orestes Estrada, Eric Young, and Buster Olney along the way. You're here on a great night because, guys, it is the last night of June, so we're at the calendar midpoint of the season. So throughout the next 95 minutes, we'll take a look at each division. We'll bring the heat, say what's wrong with the division. We'll bring some praise, point out the good things, and we'll point out one pivotal guy or team in each division over the next 95 minutes or so. Let's start in the AL Central. Twins and Tigers. Andrew Miller on the mound for Detroit. Top two, Justin Morneau, the base hit, tied at 1.
This is part of a theme. Andrew Miller had a tough time today with runners on base.
Bottom 2, Craig Monroe facing Kevin Slowey. Look at Nick Punto. That's a Web Gem nominee. Stays tied. Top 3, Jason Bartlett to left. They'll wave Luis Castillo. Bartlett into second. He's got a double, and Twins have a 2-1 lead.
Runners on base again. 4 out of 10 the Twins were with runners on base against Miller today.
Bartlett's been hot and playing real well.
Top 4, full count, 2 outs. Move forward over the head of Omar Infante. They wave Cirillo. It's 3-1 Minnesota. It's a huge series in this AL Central race. We'll examine that in just a minute. Top 5, Michael Kadire, his 9th. 6-1 Twins. Miller tagged for 5 earned on 6 hits and 5.
On the pitch before this, there had been a stolen base and a pickoff attempt. So the Twins really seem to get inside Andrew Miller's head today a little bit.
Just focus on the hitter. Get him out. Bottom 5. Here's Mags. Punto, another diving stop, and another Web Gem nominee.
Another great play. Got off his knees this time and threw him out.
Blue Ford. That's not boo, they're saying. It's 8-2 Twins.
In Detroit?
They took a shot. Joe Nathan into close in the 9th. Placido Polanco. Jason Bartlett with a gorgeous pickup and throw to get him.
He's doing it all. Hitting, defense.
16 save and 18 chances for Joe Nathan. So Minnesota takes the first 2 of this series. Tigers have lost 4 of their last 5 overall. Maglio Ordonez 0 for 4. That ends his 15-game hitting streak. By the way, Gary Sheffield sitting out the first of a 2-game suspension for his ejection on May 31st in Cleveland. So Slowey beats Miller. Who knew?
Is that what the Twins did last year? They kind of came on in June.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Don't forget the end of the last day of the whole thing. Devil Rays and Indians. CC Sabathia trying to get to 12. He had 12 wins all of last season.
He's going for his 93rd career victory today. He's not even 27 years old.
6-1 in his previous 9 starts. 8-1 in 11 starts at Jacobs Field this season. And as you can see, no walks, 6 Ks through 6. So here is your AL Central standings updated to the very last second. Worth noting that at this time last year, the Tigers, Buster, as you mentioned, 2.5 up on the White Sox. Twins were 11 back, and the Indians were 19 games up. All right, time now. We start with the AL Central. We'll go heat, we'll go praise, we'll go pivotal guy or team. O-Dog, we start with you. Bring the heat on the AL Central.
Oh, I'm going to bring the heat on, unfortunately, to a guy that I really like as a manager and a general manager, Kenny Williams, and also on my boy, Ozzie Guillen. But the Chicago White Sox, his patience is a virtue. I tell you that they've been patiently waiting for these hitters to wake up. The leading 236 low batting average, and they've been consistently bad. 236 at home, 237 on the road. They just can't seem to get off their schneid when their offense. This is a quantifiable, offensive team, and they got to turn this thing around. 500 strikeouts, 309 on base percentage has been dismal. And this does not look like it's getting any better.
Buster, we turn to you. Tell me something good about the division.
Well, without question, Maglio Ordonez, the Tigers. You guys remember, it was just a few years ago, critics were saying, what a terrible deal the Tigers made with Ordonez, 5 years, 75. I know, because I was one of those people saying that. He's been incredible this season. Batted .372, 13 homers, 68 RBI. Look, the Tigers, there are a lot of reasons why they've scored by far the most runs in the league. Curtis Granderson's having a great year. Gary Sheffield's absolutely picked it up. But Maglio Ordonez has been the backbone of what the Tigers have been able to accomplish this year. He's the reason why they're right near the top of that division.
EY, you are our pivotal guy here. Give me either a team or a player that could swing the fortune of the division for the second half.
Steve, I have to go with Kenny Rogers, the Detroit Tigers. It's important that you have a presence in your rotation, a guy that's got experience, that can get the job done, know what it takes to get to that next level. That was one of the reasons why Detroit made it last year, is the fact that he was able to give that knowledge and experience to those young pitchers who came on strong last year. Now they have to do it again. And now with Kenny coming, I think it's going to be a good for the Detroit to make another prime run at it. But remember, Kenny was 35-10 in the first half since 2004. So, okay, he missed the first half, so we're going to consider the second half his first half, and that's why Detroit's going to do well. How about that?
We started with the division for a reason. AL Central may be the toughest division fight in baseball from here on in, with all due respect to the NL West. A couple of updates right now. Let's take a look at games in progress. Edgar Renteria, Braves in Florida, 1-1 game in the 8th. And Edgar Renteria, former Red Sox great, makes it 2-1 Atlanta.
Is he your all-star shortstop?
He should be there.
He should be there.
He should be there.
He's not going to deny an infielder an all-star.
Of course.
Big Poppy at Fenway, down 1 to the Rangers. Oh,
nice pitch.
Ron May, another former Red Sox great, gets a big strikeout there. Dua, Saturday's marquee mound matchup in L.A. We'll show you Jake Peavy against Brad Penny, and our staff of experts tells us who should be the National League's all-star starter. And at the calendar midpoint of the season, we'll show the best ejections from the umpire's point of view. It's Eject Gems, and later, Web Gems.
Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Accelerate. Don't fade, accelerate.
Well, an update from the Diamondbacks and Giants. Orestes Destrada, time to play America's favorite game. Name that Molina.
Of course, Yetier.
Incorrect. I'm sorry. Looking for Benji.
Looking for
Benji Molina. A 2-run double. Barry Bonds scores all the way from first on the play.
Wow.
And the Giants lead Arizona.
I'll do better next
at AT&T Park. You better, Frank. Rockies Astros. Clint Hurdle, what can you say? Trying to avoid a 9-game losing streak. Could they lose 9 times in a row? Jeff Francis facing Mark Loretta, bottom 1. Flies out to win the inning. Out of trouble there. Matt Holliday facing former Rocky great Jason Jennings.
You know, he's got 114 hits after getting 2 hits early in this game. He's on a pace for 228, and the record for the Rockies, 219 by Dante Bichette in 1998.
2-0 Colorado in the 5th. Ryan Spilborz against Jennings. Oregon Ensburg. Spilborz beats it out. Troy Tulowitzki scores. It's 3-zip. Bottom 5, Lance Berkman. Francis out of trouble again, leading 3-0. Bottom 7, Craig Biggio. Full count. Ring him up.
Jeff Francis, another one of these lefties. They have 2, Brian Fuentes and Francis, that are hard to pick up. The release point, very difficult.
Up 3-0 in the 8th. Garrett Atkins, left field. Matsui scores. It's 4-0 Rockies. Next up, it's Brad Hawk. Down the left field line. Elton scores, made it 5-0 Colorado. So it looks like the misery may finally end for the Rockies. 5-0 still top 9. Colorado trying to avoid it, losing 9 straight for the first time in more than 2 years. The losing skid has really hurt the Rockies in the NL West race. They began Saturday 8 games behind the first place Padres. By the way, Brian Fuentes, who's blown his last 4 saves, has now been taken out of the Rockies' closer's role. It'll be closer by committee for Clint Hurdle, at least for a while, they say. Big NL West matchup in L.A. later tonight. The Dodgers' Brad Penny starting against San Diego's Jake Peavy. Peavy 9-2 overall. 4-0 on the road. A major league leading .88 ERA in 6 road starts. Penny 10-1. He's won 5 straight. Dodgers 14-2 when Penny starts this season. Here's a closer look at your pitching matchup of the 2 best starters in the National League, Jake Peavy and Brad Penny. Both have been fantastic in leading their teams to the top of the division this year. That leads us into our discussion. Who should start the All-Star game? Penny, of course, started for the NL last season. We'll get some thoughts in just a moment from Dusty Baker. Dusty, hello, joining us via satellite from San Francisco. How you doing?
All right, what's going on, fellas? Looking good over there.
Oh, you're looking pretty well, too. We're going to find out the NL starters here. So let's start with you, EY. Who should start the All-Star game for the National League?
Steve, I would have to say Jake Peavy. When you talk to National League hitters, one of the most feared pitchers in the game is Jake Peavy, and he's doing it with his record, his ERA, and he's second in strikeouts.
I'm right there. I'm right there with him. I got to say it's Jake the Snake Peavy. Great walk to K to walk strikeout ratio, 113-30, and besides, Penny started last year.
I'm going with Jake Peavy. Think about this number, him against right-handed hitters. 54 strikeouts, 34 hits. It seems like he's benefited from Greg Matissic's presence.
Dusty, who's your pick?
Penny, he's 10-1, 2.04 ERA, has 100. in 5 innings, only 91 hits, and only giving up 2 home runs. This guy, to me, is a starter. I mean, it's a tough pick between he and Peavy. You can't go wrong, but I'm going with Big Brad Penny.
So put us down for 3 Peavies and 1 Penny. Let's turn American League now. EY, who's your AL All-Star Game starter?
I have to go CC Sabathia on this one. This guy's got 12 wins. Basically, he's kept the Indians on top of the American League Central, and I think this guy's proven that he's a winner, and he wants it real bad.
O'Duck?
Oh, I'm going to go CC Sabathia. There's no doubt about it. I think he's been, Danny Herron. I'm going to go with Danny Herron. He's been nasty for the Oakland A's, been the leader of that staff, and can't go wrong with either one of those.
Oh, I got your back. Again, think about this incredible number for Dan Herron. 134 batting average against him with runners on base. He's been amazing.
Dusty, who do you like to start the All-Star Game for the American League?
Well, see, I have EY's back. I'm going with CC, too. See, I'm going with CC since you guys got each other's back over there. But CC, to me, has won 1/4 of his team's games. I mean, this guy is a workhorse, and this guy is definitely a leader, not only of the team, but on the staff as well.
Sabathia and Beckett both going for 12 wins. Beckett is not going to get it for the Red Sox. Look like Sabathia is in decent shape for the Tribe. Due up here, we'll focus on the National League Central next. Dusty Baker brings the heat on one team in particular, and Orestes gives us the key guy who could change the face of the division. And the Cubs' 7-game winning streak has come with many dramatic moments. We'll see if the drama could continue in a divisional duel against the Brew Crew at Wrigley. Baseball tonight, back after this. Updating you on games in progress across the major leagues. Jeff Francoeur, Braves up 2-1 in the 8th at Florida. They're loaded, and here's a little 2-run base knock, 5 on Atlanta.
Had 4 knocks yesterday.
Braves looking good. Suddenly they have found the offense this week big time. White Sox and Royals. Jim Thome in a 1-1 game, 10th inning. Tony Peña Jr. Oh. That's a huge play in a 1-1 game in the 10th.
Wow,
inning.
wow.
Let's go NL Central, the Brew Crew and the Cubs. Lou Piniella. Lou has sparked the team. He has sparked the team.
Creative, managing, little twisting and turning, crazy things.
First batter of the game, Corey Hart. Mike Fontenot at shortstop boots it. That's an error. Later in the inning, Prince Fielder comes up, and the Prince, leading the NL first baseman at All-Star voting, doubles to right, 3-0 Milwaukee. And then a change after the Fontenot error, EY. He switches him with DeRosa.
This is the first. I haven't seen that. I tell you, he must have realized that Mike is more comfortable at second base, and DeRosa has played shortstop and more experience there, so he wanted to change him there.
After the first inning?
Hey, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's trying to win a ball game.
Angel Pagan couldn't quite get the Fielder blast. Braun scored, made it 5-2. It's 9-2 in the 4th. Corey Hart. How's that sun in Wrigley? EY, you love Dave.
That sun is very, very difficult.
Ramirez still on third. Ben Sheets gets DeRosa, then Cesar's Turris. Now top 5. They move Fontenot from shortstop to second after the error at short. Here he is at second base, and EY, it's another error.
Well, he just got a little flat-footed right there and let the ball play him instead of playing the ball, and that's what happened when he stayed back. He took it to the side. He's supposed to stay in front of that ball.
Where's he going the next inning then?
To third base, maybe? I don't know. Bottom 5, Sheets gets Alfonso Soriano. Bottom 6, pinch hitting. It's Carlos Zambrano. And as we know, he can rake. Not always.
Not today on Ben Sheets.
Ben Sheets, 4 runs on 6 hits and 8. He struck out 11. All Brew Crew, 13-4. Ben Sheets wins his 6th straight decision, snapping the Cubbies' 7-game winning streak.
Ben Sheets already within 2 of his career high of 12 victories in a season. Corey Hart, think about this, 28 runs scored in 26 games this month, more than a run a game.
Sheets, here's Ben Sheets, 6-0 in his last 7 starts, 9-1 in his last 14 starts. Ryan Braun, a big day, 4 for 5, drove in 4. So here's your NL Central standings. Brewers lead the league. It looked like in May they might go south, but they have risen back to the top here in June. How soon we forget it. This time last year, the Reds were tied with the Cardinals for first place. This year, not so good for the Reds or the Cardinals. Eric Young. All right, time now to bring the heat in the National League Central, and for that we bring back Dusty Baker. Dusty, bring the heat. NL Central, what do you have?
Well, you know, what I have basically, you know, the former World Series champions last year, the Cardinals. And, you know, they're struggling. They're struggling with their pitching. You know, they're 10 games behind. They're, you know, 10 games behind, you know, the leading Milwaukee Brewers. You know, they lost Carpenter to injuries. They lost Supine to Milwaukee. Weaver's gone to Seattle. But you have Kip Wells and Reyes. These guys are are struggling. And anytime your pitching is struggling like this, you know, you're going to have a tough year, and these guys are looking and in real dire need of some good starting pitching.
Okay, Dusty, thank you. EY, interesting. Dusty does not like the Cardinals there. That's your team in that division.
He doesn't have my back right now, but I like
Bring the praise. Tell me something good.
The Milwaukee Brewers. We thought the Milwaukee Brewers would probably fall on their face when they went on that long road trip and struggled a little bit. These guys have been tested. This young group of Prince Fielder, J.J. Hardy, Corey Holt, Ryan Braun, Ricky Wicks are batting a combined .288. And Ricky Wicks, who's been battling his injury, his wrist, if they take him out of there, they batting .299 as a group. This team is for real. These young guys believe that they can get the job done. They're going to be tested again throughout this year, but I think this team will definitely be there at the end.
We mentioned the point where they were 24-10. We all remember that. Best team in baseball, and then they had all kinds of problems, but they'd done a good job, didn't panic, and now they're right back in control of that division. Orestes, we go to you. The pivotal player from this point on to the end of the season in the NL Central.
Well, for me, it's the Chicago Cubs, Carlos Zambrano. Stealing from Reggie, he's the straw that stirs that drink. He 4-1 in the last 5 starts with a 1.4 ERA, and we know what he can do in the second half. This guy can dictate the season for the Cubs, because you'll know that every 5th day they got a guaranteed win, and that'll give them a little bit of lessen the pressure, infuse some of that bullpen, and he goes deep in his games. This is the guy right now for me that has to step it up and will step it up for the Cubs.
And he's a warm weather guy, right? He likes the warm weather.
Loves it. Venezuelan.
All right, we have an update now from the Royals and the White Sox game. Here's Tadahito. Big spot, 1-1 in the 10th. Tadahito Iguchi.
There's a
base hit, it'll score 2. It's 3-1 White Sox, now bottom 10. Bobby Jenks coming on, trying to nail this one down for the White Sox. We'll keep you posted. Due up. As if there wasn't enough heat on the Yankees already, as if the Bronx wasn't already burning. Our expert staff brings the heat on the Yankees' issues. And we'll delve into the AL East. Eric Young learned a healthy respect for pitchers in his playing days. We'll show you why the guy EY likes in the division could be the all-star starter. We're back in a moment. Josh Beckett looking for his 12th win of the season. Rangers at Fenway Park, and Jacoby Ellsbury making his major league debut. This is the future center field star of the organization. Coco Crisp has his thumb banged up. He's going to miss a few days, so Ellsbury making his big league debut.
And before that hit by David Ortiz, Dustin Pedroia, Kevin Youkilis had seen 11 pitches from Robinson Tejeda.
Second inning. Here is Jacoby Ellsbury's first major league at bat. Didn't exactly get all of it. Gerald Laird tags him out. We do tail of the tape here. One more look.
We're going at
maybe a foot.
Under a foot.
Oh, if that was you, what are you telling your grandkids?
I'm telling them that I hit it a mile, and that there's a misunderstanding.
Here's a mile, the Uke dog. 2-run shot, hit it wicked far. His 9th, 4-0 Boston.
The U.
But then it all fell apart. It's 4-1 in the 4th, Brad Wilkerson. Center, Ellsbury. He hasn't had a whole lot of experience playing that wall out there, and it goes right over his head. Scores 2. It was a costly play. Makes it a 1-run game, 4-3 now.
Hopefully he'll have a great career in his lap at this day.
I tell you what, he's got speed to burn. He can hit, he can field, he can do it all, but he has not had a whole lot of experience against that wall, as we saw. Then here's Kenny Lofton. Came into the game 75 years old. A base hit to right. It's 4-4.
That would be a record, wouldn't it?
Keeps going.
And going.
5th inning. Beckett. Sosa!
Say hello.
You know,
What's he say?
when I hop, I don't stop.
Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah.
Sosa's 14th, 602 on the career. Still 5-4. Rangers lead the Red Sox, and Beckett on the hook here. Beckett, like CC Sabathia, trying to become baseball's first 12-game winner. Not going to happen for Beckett, it appears. He was just 1-1 in his previous 4 starts at Fenway, so maybe we should have seen this coming. He has struggled at home lately and continues to do so tonight. How about the A's and the Yankees? Chad Godin, winless in his previous 4 outings, but boy, did he get back on track in the Bronx today. Bottom 1, Johnny Damon. Godin, glove save.
And a beauty.
Nicely done. That's a Web Gem nominee. Bottom 2, Jorge Posada. Bobby Crosby, it's right there. Kei Igawa. They took him down there. They changed his mechanics. They reworked him, did the whole thing, right? Not so much.
And
Jason Kendall.
What Jorge Posada, you could tell if he was gesturing to him in the dugout, he thought that he was simply falling back in his delivery. He kept bending backwards. That's what the Yankees were trying to correct down the minor leagues.
Again, up in the zone. Shannon Stewart doesn't miss it. Back-to-back jacks for the A's. It's 2-0.
And here's why the Yankees thought it was a problem. They thought whenever he fell back, it tended to get the ball up in the strike zone.
And Buster, he's telling him exactly that in the dugout right here.
There you go.
Don't lean back, you get it up, and then when it gets up, they hit it a long way.
Communication a problem there. Obviously, Georgie's trying to work with a guy that doesn't know any English.
Right here, it gets up again, and Dan Johnson crushes it. Upper deck, 2-run shot, his 8th. The Gowa tag for 4 runs on 5 hits and 6 1/3. But he didn't pitch badly. Obviously gave up the home runs, but, you know, 5 hits and 6 1/3, not bad. Bottom 6, Damon, that's the first and only Yankee hit of the game.
Now, I talked to a scout today about Godin, and he said what the difference is since he came up with Tampa Bay. He's much more compact in his delivery, much more consistent.
3-0, A-Rod takes a hack. 3-1. All right, he's worked it back full. Here's a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. He had him 3-0, and there it goes.
A-Rod's having a tough time against this guy. It was 167 coming in against him.
Godin, 7 innings of 1-hit ball. He struck out 4. A couple of workhorse innings from Rich Harden trying to get some work in.
He's getting ready for. He's going to start next week, by the way.
Right.
Looks like.
8th shutout of the season for Oakland. The Yankees have lost 8 of 10. They're shut out for the 5th time this year. And Buster, now we find out the Bronx really is burning.
Yeah, after the game, Scott Proctor, their very much used reliever, took some of his equipment items and put them in the front of the Yankee dugout and started a bonfire.
Wow. Talk about bringing the heat.
And his line was, "I'm just throwing like bleep." And it looks like he wants to reset.
EY?
The Bronx is burning.
No.
And it only gets better. They face Danny Herron Sunday. Oh, by the way, he leads the majors with a 1.91 ERA. So AL East standing. The Yankees facing their biggest deficit at this point in the season since they closed June of 1990. 14 games out. Scott Proctor apparently has already brought the heat to the American League East, but we bring in Buster Olney. Buster, time for you to bring the heat.
No question. Bobby Abreu. Remember at the end of last year, they got him from Philadelphia. He was so important to their offense, taking pitches, getting on base, and they figured coming into this year, he was going to be the guy who was going to be the centerpiece of an offense that would score 1,000 runs. He's been absolutely terrible, just going through long stretches, seems so uncertain with his swing, has struggled in the outfield. Think about this. Earlier this week, Joe Torre dropped him to 8th in the lineup. It's been a real problem for the Yankees. Not only Bobby Abreu, all their left-handed hitters are struggling. That's always been such an important part of what the Yankees have accomplished, what their left-handed hitters do.
EY, praise for the AL East. Who gets it?
I know you would like this, Steve. Josh Beckett.
Not tonight.
Definitely, not tonight, not tonight. But I tell you what, he's been absolutely outstanding, the ace of that staff, and has done an outstanding job. What he did is change his delivery this year, which allowed him to get better location on each and every pitch that he has, and that has allowed his home run total to go down. Last year he had 36. This year, right now, only 5, so that's a great improvement. A good reason why he's 12-2 and could be the American League All-Star starter.
At times last year, that Hanley Ramirez for Beckett trade was not looking very good. It looks a whole lot better now.
Great right now.
With more perspective.
Yes.
All right, AL East, Dusty Baker, we go back to you now. Who is the pivotal player in this division from this point onward?
Well, I think my pivotal player is Vernon Wells, you know, Toronto Blue Jays, because the Blue Jays still have some action on the wild card. I mean, this guy, this year he's hitting 247, 9 home runs, 43 RBIs. That's way behind what he did last year, 303, 32 home runs, 106 RBIs. If this guy gets hot, they can make a run. I mean, the teams, they're still in it on the wild card. You know, the teams that are in front of them are Detroit, Oakland. I mean, I think they're 7 games behind. They still have action on catching them because this guy can carry this team by himself for a month. I think he will do it, and he can do it.
All right, Dusty Baker, thanks very much. Right now, we want to update you on some AL Central scenarios. We start with the White Sox in Kansas City. Bobby Jenks trying to shut down a 2-run lead in KC. Bottom 10 gets Shane Costa to ground out, and the White Sox get a win.
Mark Burley still with the team.
Still with the team. Any news on that, by the way?
Well, what we hear is that the deal might be held up. Remember, they were close. They were talking about a 4-year, $56 million deal, and apparently Burley wants at least a partial no-trade clause. That may be a sticking point.
The save for Jenks is his 21st of the year. Twins and Tigers, in case you missed it earlier, the pivotal game in this division, AL Central-wise. Andrew Miller on the mound for the Tigers in Motown. Top 2, Justin Morneau. Base knock, ties it up at 1.
This was a problem for Miller all day, pitching with runners on base. The Twins were 4 for 10.
Kevin Slowey starting from Minnesota, bottom 2, Craig Monroe. Nick Punto is there. He's got his back.
They got some great defensive plays today from the left side of their infield.
Yeah, Punto is dropping web gem nominees all over the place. Top 3, Jason Bartlett. To left, Luis Castillo on second. They'll wave him. Bartlett into second himself. And the Twins have taken a 2-1 lead.
The runners on base again.
Top four. Full count, 2 outs. Big spot for Lou Ford. And he comes through past Omar Infante. Jeff Cirillo scores 3-1 Minnesota. We go top 5. Here's Michael Kadire. Miller allowed 5 earned on 6 hits in 5. The 3-run shot is Kadire's 9th. And the Twins are all over the Tigers 6-1.
This was right after a stolen base and a pickoff attempt. So you wonder if he was thinking a little bit too much about the base runners, not enough about the hitter.
Bottom 5. Here's Mags. And there is Nick Punto again with a web gem now.
Again, Nick Punto, that left side, and still more to come.
Top 6, Lou Ford. Oh, that's a hanger. His second of the year, 8-2 Twins.
Sweet Lou.
Bottom 9, Joe Nathan into close. This is usually lights out. Placido Polanco is the hitter. Final out of the game. Last chance. Here comes Jason Bartlett with a nice play.
Left side. Nice day.
Great day.
Won at 8-5. 16 save and 18 chances for Nathan. So Minnesota takes the first 2 of this series. Tigers have lost 4 of their last 5 overall. The series finale Sunday night on spectacular ESPN HD.
They lost, but look at that. Curtis Granderson, home run number 11. He's already got 46 extra base hits, and we're only halfway through the season.
Maglia Ordonez 0 for 4. Eddie gets 15-game hitting streak. Let's get an update now from the Marlins and the Braves. Atlanta busting out the whipping sticks. They found their offense lately, but Dan Uggla trying to get some back. Solo shot.
All-star last year as a Rule 5 pick. He is for real. He's not having a sophomore jinx. Great power.
Got 17 home runs, exactly. Due up will bring the heat on the NL East. Andrew Jones having about as bad a walk year as a future free agent can have. Orestes tells us why. And later, update your umpire ejection fantasy league. The best catches are called web gems. We'll have the best moments from the umpires' perspectives with Eject gems. Keeping an eye on the Rangers and Red Sox at Fenway. Kyle Snyder in a bit of a pickle here. 5-4 Rangers in the 8th. 1 on. Ramon Vasquez goes down. Red Sox batting down 1. Home half of the 8th at Fenway. Mets and Phils. J.A. Happ, his major league debut for the Phils. They're rolling out the rookies one after.
Great effort. Look at that.
He's fearless.
Wow.
Didn't give up on it, kept going for it.
And later in the game, they showed him in the outfield. He was still going, like shaking his head, like I should have had that.
That would have been unbelievable. Beltran, second of the game in 14.
Wow.
Your top 9, Beltran, right field line. LaDuca wants 3rd. Chase Utley, the relay. Not so much. LaDuca can come on in. Beltran, 4 hits in the game, and the Mets are all over the Phils again. 8-3 as the Phillies fall 6 back of New York in the NL East. Phils using rookie starters in 3 of the 4 games against the Mets this weekend.
Mets, 9 homers in the first 3 games of this series. Mike Pelfrey's going to start Sunday. Oliver Perez has a stiff back.
Beltran with back-to-back home runs, 2 home run games, right-handed, left-handed. He does it all.
Meanwhile, Pat Burrell, the highest paid Philly, going the other way. He was benched for the 9th time in 13 games. An update from the Giants and the Diamondbacks. Barry Bonds, number 750 last night. And this from Doug Davis is a walk. Like how I said, built
I like
the
it. You had me. You had me at Barry.
You had me at hello. Braves and Marlins. It's a walk. You do what you can. You know, this is why. Let's just either move the team or get a dome. Do something. Because this is just silly.
Played there. I'm all with you, brother.
Bottom 1, Miguel Cabrera, Tim Hudson, base knock. Uggla scores 1-0 Florida.
You were there for the famous tarp thing, right? Where they battled
Where
the
they
tarp?
fell and then they...
Right, exactly. Where they lost. They lost to the wind.
I mean, they got to get that figured out. This became a pitching duel involving, of all people, B.K. Kim getting Chipper Jones there. Tim Hudson, Matt Trainer, gets him.
EY on his good day. Kim, his stuff.
It's pretty good.
When are those good days? That's the issue. Dan Uggla,
Yeah.
Scott Thorman, nice defense. Chipper facing Kim, 2 on in the 6th. Here's a big spot. And this time Chipper, he reached down there and went and got it.
When he plays, they win.
Tied at 1.
Sound like John Smoltz.
2 batters later, though. Kim, got to get McCann out here. 1-1 game, 2 on. B.K. Kim, 1 earned in 6 1/3. Nice outing by him. Give him his props. I'll bring the praise. Bottom 6, Hudson facing Joe Borchard, and there is Edgar Renteria.
All-star.
All-star.
Web Gem nominee.
Here's why.
Top 8, off Armando Benitez. They'll wave Willie Harris, RBI double for Renteria. It puts Atlanta up 2-1 in the 8th. Later in the inning, they're loaded, 1 out. Jeff Francoeur can bust this thing wide open.
One thing Frenchie's done consistently this year is hit with men in scoring position. He has just done a fantastic job with that.
Scored 2, 4-1 Atlanta. Bring him up at third, though. Ugla homered his 17th later in the game to get it a little closer, but it's now 6-2. Atlanta coming off its sweep of the Nationals, in which the Braves outscored Washington 23-3. They kept the offense going last night with a 12-3 win in the opener of this series, and they've scored 6 here. So the pitching getting all kinds of support. NL East standings, here they are. By the end of last June, the Mets had pulled away. They were 10.5 up. This year, not so much. They're trying to do the same thing, putting together a nice run just before the All-Star break. Orestes, time for you to bring the heat in the National League East.
Well, I'm going to bring the heat on a surprise player, and that is Andrew Jones. I mean, who would have thunk it? I mean, this guy's a perennial all-star, a future possibly Hall of Famer in the midst of a Hall of Fame career going into the beginning of this year, and all of a sudden, what? 199 with 80 strikeouts in 78 games. Albeit he's got 12 home runs and 42 RBIs, but this guy has surprised us immensely. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Hopefully we'll have that great second half.
But you just said it. Not sure exactly what's going on. This is a guy who in a normal walk year would put up a typical Andrew Jones year, go out in the free agent market and get a huge contract. How do you assess him now?
I cannot assess it. I'm not real sure why it's going on this way because, you know, Andrew came into the season. I saw him in spring training. He was very enthused by it. And obviously he knows that back in mind we're talking a $100 million plus contract, and he wants to help his team win. He's a big Braves guy and wants to stay in Atlanta. But why this is happening, I'm not sure. He's not injured, and just things haven't happened the way it should. So we'll see what happens.
EY, as usual, you were the voice of reason. Give us some good news about the NL East.
What, I'm the nice guy tonight, Steve?
You're the good guy.
You're the good guy in the group.
Guy.
Sure.
I give love to the Mets starters. The Mets starters have kept them afloat the whole season with the injuries to Tom Glavine and El Duque. These guys have still been in first place the whole first half. And I give the fact the last 9 games, the ERA is 1.97. So we can't talk about their offense. We talk about their pitching staff. And this is without Pedro Martinez, who's coming back probably in August. These guys have made it easier for Pedro to take his time, for Omar not to rush, to jump and make a trade for another pitcher. These John Maine, Jorge Sosa, Oliver Perez, Tom Glavine, El Duque are getting the job done for these guys.
And remember, everybody knows about Pedro, but you forget about Pelfrey, who they're counting on to get something, has not done anything at all this year.
But he's going to do something tomorrow.
All right, let's talk about guys who will do something. Buster, who is the pivotal guy in the National League East?
John Smoltz knows the answer to this. Chipper Jones of the Braves. Look, the bottom line is when Chipper Jones is in the lineup, the Braves win, and when he's out of the lineup, they lose. The record when he's in the lineup, 32-24. When he's out of the lineup, 10-14. It comes down to this. The Braves simply do not have a lot of depth in their lineup, especially in a year, as Orestes was saying, Andrew Jones is really struggling. They're depending on Brian McCann, Jeff Francoeur. They need Chipper Jones in that lineup. That's why John Smoltz said what he said. He kind of wanted to send a message to make sure Chipper Jones stays in the lineup.
I've just been given an update on the Red Sox and Ranger game, and I have to say, before we go to the tape, this may be the most catastrophic highlight of this baseball season so far. Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Ready.
All right, let's get an update. Rangers and Red Sox. Julio Lugo.
Hello.
In a pinch running situation. This is about all you can do with this guy. Gets himself thrown out as the catcher double pumps. And keep in mind, he was a perfect 20 for 20 stealing this year. Pinch running for Pedroia in a 1-run game.
2 outs.
It's 2 outs.
He's done.
And Euclid's up.
I mean,
He looked into the home like thinking like Euclid was supposed to swing.
you know what? We can joke about it, no one more so than me. But this is a guy in the first year of a $36 million 4-year deal. You can't even put him in as a pinch runner now.
How's it looking so far?
Not good.
Not
good.
Muy bueno.
Not good. Not muy bueno.
Oh, my goodness.
No es bueno.
Wow.
Do up as I recover. It's perhaps the most competitive division in baseball. We'll discuss the NL West. Orestes brings the heat on the closer, whose rough week has cost his team some valuable games in the division standing. And what's better than Web Gems every night? How about a month's worth of Web Gems, the best Web Gems from all of June, and the ones from just tonight coming up next. Another update from San Francisco. We showed you the Barry Bonds double that made it 3-1 Giants. Here's Kevin Fransden. This is an RBI single, made it 4-1. Name that Melina Benji. 2 for 3 so far. He's driven in 2.
I would have got that one.
Over the Diamondbacks 4-1. Oh, it's got to be in the highlight. That's the rule. All right, we thank baseball ejection guru David Vincent for this chart comparing Major League ejections of the last few seasons. They are up significantly from this point last year.
I thought so. It feels like an El Nino thing is happening over here.
Last year at this time, 87 ejections. This year, 108. They have run 108 guys. We're only 3 months through the season.
Global warming?
Global warming is causing these guys. They're a little heated. I don't know what's going on.
All right, we here at ESPN actually have an umpire ejection fantasy league, and at this time, I'd like to take the opportunity.
Owning up to
this
that.
is a personal message. Ed Rapuano, Dale Scott, Brian Runge, Culpa. The patience, a little too much. The fuse, a little shorter. So we thought, you know what? With all these ejections, let's take a look at the best ejection so far from the first 3 months of the season, not from the player perspective or the manager perspective, but the umpire. Who had the best form when they ran a guy?
Got some good ones.
So here it is. Eject gems so far, number 5. One of my guys, Ron Culpa.
Mia.
26, Phillies and Braves. He ran Bobby Cox, and the beauty of this for me, he also ran John Smoltz from the dugout. So I get the double ejection from Culpa.
But he threw him from as Bobby was pointing down, he must have said something really nice, and he went down there and then popped him.
Another one of my guys, Ed Rapuano, May 31st, Padres Pirates, Josh Bard initially ruled a home run, then a double. Eddie Rapp tosses Bard as he races out there. Rapuano being restrained.
Oh, that was a no-no. You don't do that to Ed. You don't run out there at him. No way.
Well, as soon as he left the dugout, he's out anyway. So Ed said, let me give you something.
Ed would not back down.
He's following him around.
Look at him.
It's like Papelbon. The guy's Papelbon.
Well, hey, that's how you get to, that's how you make an eject gem right there. Number 3, Mark Wegner. June 2nd, Braves and Cubs calls out Angel Pagan trying to steal third. And this was the whole Lou Piniella fiasco with the hat and the kicking and the dirt and the whole thing. And Wegner just stands there. This guy's a rock. I mean, he's not moving.
He looks like a little drill sergeant.
He's not moving. He don't care about the shoes getting dirty.
By the way, in terms of umpire ejection fantasy league, Mark Wegner has had a heck of a year.
He's had a strong year. He's leading the league right now.
A lot of guys are challenging him.
Good point. But you guys have said umpires now, they will talk back to you. They don't take that stuff. Sometimes they'll even bait you, maybe. Jerry Crawford, June 1st, Yankees Red Sox. How's the form here, by the way? This is your classic toe-to-toe.
No, that's a classic. He's going at his face, and then he turns.
The windmill.
And the
windmill. That's called the windmill. Yeah, the 180 windmill.
A veteran like Jerry will give you a chance to talk a little bit. He said, that's enough.
Your number 1 eject gem for the first 3 months of the season goes to Larry Vanover. He's still hanging in there with Joe Torre. Oh, you get the finger wag. That's big. That'll score you big points in the eject gem rotation. But here's Larry Vanover, May 15th, Brew Crew, Philly, rings up Jeff Jenkins. Ned Yost tells him, don't come out here. Oh, as soon as he does, you're out of there.
Gave him a chance.
Gotta love the form on that when he had the hand out, don't come out. Then when he knows that he's out, he reaches back, throws him out.
More pointing.
It was beautiful.
It really was a stop and go because don't come out here. I'm telling you, all right, you're gone.
Did you notice the dance on the strikeout?
Yeah, no,
that's
great.
what make a player real upset.
So that's really how you get the number 1 eject gem of the season. And congratulations to Larry Vanover. Magnificent.
Well, Larry's guy, he's been around a long time. He's got the form.
He's really a master of
He's very orthodox with his throwing out, guys.
All right, it's come to almost the end of the show. This is usually when the Royals, sort of sneak into the show. Sneaking into the Royals and a guy getting ejected. We show you the White Sox and Royals, and there's Ozzie Guillen. He's been run a few times. Esteban Herman, bottom 1. Josh Fields, the barehander. I'm going to make that a web gem.
Nice bunt, nice play.
Apparently they're not listening to you. I didn't see you web gem nominated.
They never do. Top 5, Andy Gonzalez. Short left. Emil Brown.
Is that a nominee?
I'm going to make it one.
Should be. That should be. You have to go a long way.
Well, the graphics.
0 for 2 there, Steve.
Busy night. Well, I wasn't the one that said Bob Wickman was going to nail down the save. There's a web gem nominee for Mark Teahan on Fields. It took 3 plays, but they're there. 1-1 in the 10th, Jim Thome. Tony Pena.
Nominee.
There it is.
See,
you call it.
There it is.
You call it. It comes right there. Same inning, they're loaded. Tadahito Iguchi. Here's Tadahito. Scores 2. Scott Sposednik, he's got speed, beats the throw. So the White Sox able to get a win.
Against that,
Jenks came in and got his 21st save to nail it down.
yeah, against that Royals bullpen, which really has been tremendous over the last month till tonight.
Royals had won 5 in a row. They were trying to win 6 in a row for the first time since they started the 2003 season, a 9-0. Due up here on the big program. We will go yard. We'll show you the yard work. The long balls. Oh boy, did Ryan Howard hit one way far. We will touch them all of Saturday's significant home runs so far, the noteworthy. And we've shown you June gems. We've shown you eject gems. Now we'll just go with the plain old normal web gems.
Back ready, EY?
Splash!
They're going to
Souvenir City.
touch them all. Jason Kendall. First time with 2 home runs in a month since June of 04.
Maybe in a year since quite a while.
Ryan Braun's got 6 home runs in June. This just in. That guy can rake.
Lock it in. Number 3 spot in the lineup.
Yep. 27 home runs against the Twins. That's the most he's got against any team. David Wright. 14. All 14 home runs he's had this season have been hit in the last 2 months.
1 of 9 by the Mets in the first 3 games of the series against the Phillies.
Here are more. Carlos Beltran. Back-to-back 2-homer games for one of the Carloses.
Think he likes Citizens Bank just a little bit?
The bank is now closed for the Phillies. The Uke Dog ends a 26-game homerless drought. Of course, he was at bat, down 1 run when Julio Lugo pinch running got himself thrown out trying to steal 3rd in a 1-run game.
That didn't bother you too much, I guess.
Oh, my, good Lord. Travis Hafner's got 3 homers in 6 games.
Heating up.
Ryan Howard, 450 feet.
One of his cheapies.
Hit one 505 the other day. This one just a duck snort
Wow.
at 450.
Wow.
Sammy Sosa, what does he say?
When I hop, I no stop.
When I hop, I don't stop.
No stopping.
No stopping. That turned out to be the winning run for the Rangers, who beat the Red Sox at 5-4. Here is your home run note. No one's talking about the home run derby jinx now for David Wright. Yes, he had no home runs in April, as we said, but he's got 14 in the last 2 months, and he's right on pace to match or even better last year's total of 26. Your home run leader for players who had none in April, Alfonso Soriano.
The most surprising of that 4, Jack Cuss would be the most surprising.
Started the year in AAA.
Hello. Then hit a home run in almost every at-bat when he first came up. An update from San Fran. We'll have the home run derby coming up on ESPN. Dave Roberts with a late Web Gem nominee.
The doctor, Dave Roberts.
4-1 Giants lead Arizona. Here are the final gems for the early edition of baseball tonight. Tony Apena Jr. How about this for a 1-1 10th inning catch with 2 on? But the Royals unfortunately went on to lose the game 3-1. But still, that's a heck of a play. Earlier in that game, Emil Brown, number 4. Back-to-back Royal Web Gems.
So they did listen to you.
They did.
See? I get no respect. I get no respect at all. Shane Victorino, number 3. As we said earlier, this guy's in Web Gems all the time, and
All the
will
time.
be again.
Not only with his these great plays he makes with the glove, but a sensational arm that he has in right field.
Yeah, throwing out guys. It's true. He's really a double threat Web Gem. Not a lot of those guys around. The glove and the arm. Ichiro would be another one. Next inning in that same game, Carlos Beltran off the bat of Jimmy Rollins. Oh, that will look like the one he hurt himself on in Houston
That's
last
right.
year.
That's right.
Same sort of dive, leading with the leg.
When you hit the track there, are you nervous about hitting the wall?
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
Don't hold back. Number 1, Nick Punto. For the Twins in Detroit, where they beat the Tigers again.
Tough. That's a twist his body in order to get enough on the throw to get the runner.
Nick Punto so far has the number 1 Web Gem from today. Don't forget we got another baseball tonight later. Fast Willie Bloomquist up for the Mariners. Aaron Hill bidding for a late Web Gem nominee. Still scoreless at Safeco.
Nice job by the first base.
Stat of the night, the Giants and Diamondbacks have played 9 straight 1-run games against each other. The only streak longer in Major League history, 10 straight 1-run games between the Giants and Cubs in 1985 and 86. Currently 4-1 in the 6th, though, so that streak threatening to end. As we close out here, we talked a little bit about this Pirate fan protest. Frankly, I think they should protest and leave the ballpark every time the Pirates wear those hideous McDonald's-like red
No doubt
jerseys.
about it. That should be the protest.
But what's your take? Pirates fans upset that the team, in their perception, not spending enough money, not committed to winning enough, so they staged a walkout after the third inning at their game tonight. What do you guys think about this?
I mean, first of all, what I think about this is that it is a sad occurrence because this is a storied franchise, and there are a couple other franchises that have been very successful. The Penguins are turning it around with the best player in hockey, young kid, and you got the Steelers that have won just a Super Bowl. So there's a lot of expectation, and then when they see this team not spend enough money, it leaves a sour point. I played for the Bucks, and I love those fans over there. Now they got a nice stadium. Spend a little bit of more money and give them an opportunity to perform.
You know what was different about it tonight? Remember last year that same thing happened with the Orioles, and at that time what the Orioles did was basically try to ignore it entirely. We actually heard from the Pirates' principal owner yesterday put out a statement saying, hey, I understand your frustration. 15 years. The irony is the Pirates now are only 10 games under 500. Last year at the All-Star break, 30 games under 500. They're getting better.
You want them to spend more money. The ticket prices at PNC, one of the best ballparks in baseball.
Yep.
You're gonna have